There's a lot of things in the Elver industry in the background that you're not going to see in the news or anything like that. It's not just go throw a net in the water, get some eels, go sell and make some money. No, oh no, there's a lot more. So you got to have a license, yep, and you got to have a swipe card, and every month you have to send in harvester reports. Because the swipe card, every time you go to sell, isn't enough for the state. They need to come up with more ways to keep people employed. So we just generate stuff to do that. So here's how it works. Get a plastic card, and it's RFID now. Used to be like a credit card, you swipe it through. So when a fisherman goes to sell Elvers, it's all electronic. The buyer has a computer and has an RFID scanner. So you have to take this card and read the card. That starts a transaction form on their computer. On that form, the dealer has to fill in who they're buying from, me, how much weight they're buying from me, and then a check number, because cash is illegal now. If you get caught using cash, it's a criminal offense, you can go to jail. Figure that one out. I'd like to see that lawsuit. But anyway, so they write a check number and then the amount of the check, because, Department of Marine Resources needs to know how much money each harvester gets paid. You know what they're doing with that, right? Yeah. So if I go sell right now, as soon as my transaction closes, the state knows about it. They know that I went to this dealer, and they know that I sold X amount of pounds and how much money they paid me with what check number. Right then and there. Yeah. Okay. And that goes with every fisherman in the state. And they know what dealer, buyer bought. So they know who each fisherman sold to. All right, it's all electronic. So why do we have these stupid harvester reports? Yeah, before the electronic system, we had them. Well, we still have them, and it's redundancy, and it's absolutely stupid. How stupid? I'll tell you. Again, we need to create BS to give people jobs so they could have paychecks doing absolutely nothing. That's the way this goes. So, for example, March of this year, the 31st came. You have 10 days after the end of the month to submit your harvester report. It's broken down every single day. They want to know every day how much you caught. Well, we're not required to weigh how much we catch. And when you catch a little golf ball, you're not even going to tip a scale. The best you can do is eyeball guess what the weight is. So, whatever. March 23rd, caught this. March 24th, caught this. So on and so forth. You have to do that all the way down till you finish your quota and you are done. Whether it's just March, April, May, however long that takes. Other information on that form, they want to know how many people are involved in your crew. 1, 2, what the hell does that matter? Oh, but they need to know that. That's very important information. They want to know the type of gear you're using. Well, they already know the type of gear I'm using because they gave me the friggin' license, right? So right on my license it says 1 Fike net. Yep. Same with every fisherman. Right on their license it says what type of gear they can use. 2 Fike nets. A dip and a Fike. A dip only. 1 Fike. A Fike with crew. It says that. But yet you need to write down how many pieces of gear you're using and what type it is on this report. For information they should already know because they gave you the license. Ignorant, isn't it? Oh, but it gets better. It gets better. Then they want to know the set time. How long was the gear in the water? Well, it's not a fishing pole. If you've watched my videos or any other fisherman's videos, it ain't a fishing pole, all right? A little common sense here. If it's a Fike net, it's going to be in the water around the clock, 24 hours a friggin' day. And it's only going to fish on the incoming tide at night, right? Yep, we know that. Well, the state doesn't know that, and we'll get to that. So you need to put that in there. Okay. Well, it gets better. It gets better. If it was a dip net, obviously a dip net's not in the water 24 hours a day. The dip net's going to be in the water a few hours a day, night. Tide's coming in, it's nighttime. Going to go out there with a dip net and try and dip. I'm not getting anything. Tide's over. You go home. It's pretty friggin' simple. Oh, you're going to have to put that on the report. People need jobs, right? You can't make this stuff up, people. This is government for you. So then they want to know, what body of water did you fish? If you just write a town name, like let's say Bangor, oh, that ain't good enough. You have to write Penobscot River. All right. Well, you only have one place to put that in there. So what if you fished multiple places during that time period of that report? I don't know. Figure it out, I guess. Well, then something else they want to know, other than the weight, is who you sold to. All right. Well, they already know that, right? Right at the beginning of the video, I showed you the electronic transaction card. So as soon as the fisherman goes and sells his eels, you can't even sell. You can't start a transaction. You can't do anything without that card. And it comes up on the dealer's computer, right? And as soon as I'm not even out the door yet, that closes out, that's all getting emailed off to the state. But you have to put that on the report too. I know, I'm a little worked up, I'm a little irritated because stupid should hurt. And there is not a shred of common sense with DMR and with the state. None. Zero. Kindergartners have more common sense. So, for example, when I did my March report, if you followed my videos from day number 1, this has been a slow year. And I just logged like 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 every day for March because I just had golf balls every day. And I didn't sell anything. By the end of March, I had maybe a half a pound-ish, give or take, something like that. Not a lot. And at $300 to $400 a pound, I'm not going to go sell a half a pound. So I did my report. I send it in by email, right? And I get an email back. They always send a confirmation email that they receive it. Good. I always keep those, and I'll get to that reasoning too. Because I'm a bad boy, and I apparently am always out of compliance every year, and they want to suspend me. That's coming up. So one of the people that works in the office sends me an email. Hey, we're missing information, like the set time, exactly what body of water I fished, and then asked if I sold my eels or if I was carring them. Carring them means holding on to them, like I got here in this shop tank. Well, what do you think I'm doing? Did I put on my report that I sold to anybody with a dealer number? No, I did not. Number 2, you work for the state, you work for DMR. I'll say again, we can't sell eels to anybody without that electronic swipe card, which the state knows about instantaneously. Obviously, you don't have it on your end. I didn't write it down. So what's the logical conclusion here? I didn't sell anything, right? Well, they're not smart enough to figure that out. So our legal season is March 22nd to June 7th. You can fish anywhere in that time period. Most everybody starts in March. And having individual quota, when you reach your quota, you're done. Your gear's out of the water, your season is done, you can no longer fish. You can't even fish and help a buddy out. You're done. So, let's say somebody is done in March. Nobody ever is, but let's say they are. Okay, so they do their March report, and on the 31st they say, everything adds up to their quota, for the weight they caught, sold to whatever, with the dealer number, quoted out, gear out of the water. That is clearly stated on the harvester report the fisherman sends to the state. So that means gear's out of the water, They're quoted out. They're done. They are no longer fishing. Their season is over. Okay. Well, what would anybody with a half of one brain cell in their head reasonably deduce out of that? They're no longer fishing, right? Which means they're not going to catch anything else, right? Well, the state is not smart enough to figure that out. So the fishermen, even though they can no longer catch anything, cannot have a piece of gear in the water, can't even possess an Elver anymore because they're quoted out, they still have to fill out reports for April, May, and June. And on those reports, you can't just say, did not fish this month. Nope. You have to fill out every line, April 1st all the way to the end of the month, May 1st all the way to the end of the month, and then June, from June 1 to June 7th, put in the same thing, fake net, dip net, whatever, and then zeros all the way down for what you caught every day. Yes, we are that stupid in this state. You can't make this stuff up. Seriously, you can't. I've got a friend, good friend, known her forever. She buys scallops. Well, scallop season in Maine is in the wintertime, okay? Like December and January. Maybe a whisker into February. That's the fishing season for scallops. All right, so that's when she buys scallops. But yet, through the spring and summer, she still has to do the same thing on her reports. Send zeros to the state every month that she's not buying scallops. Well, no shit. But they need paperwork because we need to give somebody a paycheck. I'm a bad boy. Usually, come about November of every year, I get a letter from DMR, Department of Marine Resources. I get a letter from them that my license is going to go under suspension for being out of compliance with these harvester reports. Okay. Well, when I do them on my computer, on Excel, and then I email them. And I said a minute or two ago, they send a confirmation back that they've received them. I always keep those confirmations, and here's why. Go ahead, suspend me, I dare you. Tell me I can't fish the next year because you say I didn't send you the shit that I can prove by your confirmations that I sent you. Bring it on. Let's see how that goes for you. So, yep, they do that. So I'll give them a call, say, hey, here's who I am. What do you mean you don't have my reports? Yep, you didn't send in whatever, May and June. Yeah, I did, and I have the confirmations in my email that I did. And then I'll get right in my email, yep, I sent it on this date at this time, and you sent me back the confirmation on this date at this time for this one that you said you don't have. Or these two you say you don't have. So you lost your shit. That ain't my problem. You want to suspend me because you lost it? That is not going to go good for you. So then they'll start looking around and go, oh, we found it now. Hey, how about that? Yeah. Just pisses me off because it's wasting my time because we're paying them a bunch of money and we just have complete incompetence here. It's kind of like DOT, our main Department of Transportation. On their trucks, they have, honesty, integrity, and competence. They misspelled incompetence. They forgot the IN in front of it. Anyhow, I was talking to some guys in the brook and got on that subject about these nasty grams. Oh, yeah, that happens to us too. So it's not just me. It happens to other people. So even though they send in their reports like they're supposed to, they get the nasty grams, we're going to suspend you because you did your job and we screwed up on our end, so it's your fault. Sorry if that turned into a little bit of a rant, but that's not stuff you're going to see in the news media. The news media is just the Hollywood. Oh, these guys are going out and they're just making tons and tons of money, thousands of dollars a night. No, BS. Some of the big guys are, yeah. Us little guys, no, we're not. But we all have to deal with these reports. And I'm sure a lot of us have to deal with this ignorance from the state. It's just absolutely dumb. See ya.